Hi students, and welcome to this third part of number system. So till now we have studied about natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers and irrational numbers. For most of the time in this lecture we are going to study about the decimal representation of real numbers and how on the basis of their decimal representation they are classified into rational numbers and irrational numbers. Further, we are also going to look at the method to represent any real number on the number line. So without wasting any time, let's begin. So before we begin this lecture, let's give a recall to what we have studied so far. Now what are real numbers? Real numbers are the numbers that can be represented on the number line. So all the numbers that can be represented on the number line are known as real numbers. There is further classification of real numbers, that is, either they can be rational numbers or they could be irrational numbers. So now what are rational numbers? We know that rational numbers are the numbers that can be expressed in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0. And on the other hand, the numbers which cannot be represented in such a way as the rational numbers are known as irrational numbers. Now when we look at the decimal expansion or the decimal representation of rational numbers and the irrational numbers, the striking feature is the decimal representation of rational numbers can be either terminating or it could be either non-terminating recurring decimal. So when we look at the decimal representation, rational numbers could be terminating, that is they end after a fixed number of digits, or they can be non-terminating but recurring. While on the other hand, irrational numbers are non-terminating and non-recurring. So they do not terminate and also they do not follow a fixed pattern, or they are not periodic. So irrational numbers are non-terminating, non-recurring numbers. So this is the flowchart of numbers. So now let's see the decimal representation of some of the real numbers. So expansion of some real numbers. Let us take for example 7 by 3. Now 7 by 3 is a real number and it is also a rational number. So now let's see the decimal representation of 7 by 3. So we convert this fraction into a decimal form. So this is 7 and we divide it by 3. So when we divide 7 by 3, in the first step what we get is quotient as 2 and the remainder as 1. So now in the next step we have to divide 1 by 3. Now 1 is obviously smaller than 3. So what we do is we put a decimal sign over here and add a 0 over here. So what we have to do is now we have to divide 10 by 3. And what we get is quotient as 3 and the remainder as 1. Again we get 1 and we have to divide it by 3. So what we get is, because of this decimal we add a 0 and we get the quotient as 3 and the remainder again as 1. Next again we have to divide this 1 by 3 and what we get is 0 being added because of this decimal and 3 being added over here. Thus again we get 1, again we divide this by 3, and when we again follow the same step we get the answer as 2.333333 and so on. So 7 by 3 could be written as equal to 2.333333 and so on. Thus we clearly see that this is a non-terminating number because there is no end to the number of digits after the decimal. Also we get 3 as repeating, thus this is a recurring decimal. Next, take the next case as 5 by 8. So we take the fraction as 5 by 8 or the real number as 5 by 8. Now when we divide 5 by 8, what we get is answer as 0.625. So when we divide 5 by 8, the final answer is 0.625. We haven't shown the steps of division, but that's something you can always do on a piece of paper. So the final answer is 0.625. And what's so special about 0.625? We see that it's clearly a terminating decimal. Thus 5 by 8 is a terminating decimal number. Let's take one more case, 1 by 7. Now let's see the next case as 1 by 7. Now this is again a real number, and when we divide 1 by 7 we get very long procedure and the answer comes out to be 0.142857, again 142857. So there's a cycle of 142857 and again it repeats after the 7. So after this again we would get 142857 and this cycle goes on continuously. But one more important thing to notice, here the remainder is 3, here the remainder is 2, here the remainder is 6, 4, 5, 1. Then again it is 3, 2, 6, 4, 5 and so on. Thus the remainders are also repeating. So the quotient of this division is repeating because 142857 then again 142857, and thus this pattern is repeating. But on the other hand, remainders are also repeating. 326451, again 326451, and thus this is a case of non-terminating but recurring decimal. But what is so special in that? We have seen the division of all these three numbers, but what exactly is the striking feature in all these examples? The first is, remainders either become 0 after a certain stage or start repeating themselves. When we talk of rational numbers, either the remainders would become 0 after a certain stage, and this is a stage where we stop the division, or they start repeating themselves. In the case of 10 by 3, the remainder was always 1, so it was continuously repeating. In the case of 5 by 8, the remainder was 0 because we got a terminating decimal. And in the case of 1 by 7, also we saw that the remainders kept on repeating themselves after a certain interval. The next is, the number of entries in the repeating string of remainders is less than the divisor. So number of entries in the repeating string of remainders is less than, in the first case the divisor was 3 and the number of entries were 1, so, and the number of remainders were 1, so of course 1 is less than 3. Also, when we took the case of 1 by 7, what we get the string of remainders as 326451, 326451, 326451. Such a block consists of 6 digits, 326451. So of course 6 is less than 7, and so we can say that the number of entries in the repeating string of remainders is always less than the divisor. The third striking feature is, if the remainders repeat, then we get a repeating block of digits in the quotient. So if the remainders are repeating themselves, then of course we'll get a repeating block of digits in the quotient. These were some of the examples to give you a brief about what are terminating decimals, what are non-terminating decimals, and in the category of non-terminating, what are the recurring decimals. Now, let's take the case number 1 as remainder equal to 0. So whenever we get remainder equal to 0, then it is known as a terminating decimal. Terminating decimal is always a rational number. Let's take case number 2. The case number 2 is remainder not equal to 0. Earlier we took the case as remainder equal to 0. Now of course the second case will be remainder not equal to 0. Now again there are two cases. The first is it's a recurring decimal, and the second is it's a non-recurring decimal. Whenever it's a recurring decimal, it is a rational number, and when it's a non-recurring decimal, then it's an irrational number. So earlier also we have seen this flow chart that whenever the remainder is 0, then it's a terminating decimal, and all the terminating decimals are rational numbers. Second case would be remainder is not equal to 0. So we do not get a remainder equal to 0 at any stage of division. But for that again there are two cases. Either it could be recurring, that is the remainder keep repeating itself after a fixed interval, or the second case could be it is not repeating, or we do not get a fixed pattern. So if we get a fixed pattern, or if the remainder is repeating, then it's a recurring decimal, and such numbers which are non-terminating and also recurring are known as rational numbers. While on the other hand, if we get a non-terminating and a non-recurring decimal number, then this is an irrational number. Now we have seen what are recurring decimals, but now how to represent a recurring decimal? This is because a recurring decimal keeps on going, and how actually to represent such a continuously going on number on a piece of paper. For example, if we take the case of 1.333333 and so on, this 3 is continuously repeating itself and it can go on to infinity. But how to actually represent such a number on a piece of paper? So of course mathematicians have devised a notation for that, and this is, we write 1.3 and on the top of 3 we put a bar. So this bar represents that this 3 is continuously repeating itself. So in this case we see that 3 is continuously repeating itself, whereas 1 is not. So we write 1 as it is, and on the top of 3 we place a bar, and this number represents 1.3333. That is the number which is below the bar represents the number which is continuously going on. So this is a way of representing a recurring decimal. Let's see one more example. 1 by 7 is equal to 0.142857. 142857 and so on. This we have already seen in the previous example. So 142857 keeps on repeating itself after a fixed interval. So 142857, 142857, 142857 and so on is a decimal representation of 1 by 7. Now again, how to represent this number? What we do is we write 0.142857 and again we place a bar above 142857. So this is a block that is repeating, so we place a bar over this entire block and this represents that 142857 keeps on repeating itself after a fixed interval. So this is the way to represent a non-terminating but a recurring decimal. That is, we place a bar above the number or above the block of digits that keep on repeating themselves after a fixed interval. Now let's try to see a solved example. Show that 0.2353535, which is equal to 0.235 and there's a bar over 35, can be expressed in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0. So this problem is nothing but we have been given a number 0.235353535 and so on, where 35 is the block that is repeating, and we have to show that this number can be expressed as a rational number in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers and q is not equal to 0. Seen that a non-terminating but a recurring decimal is a rational number, but also we have seen that rational number is expressed in the form of p by q. So we must be able to put this number in the rational form. But how to do that? Let's try to see the procedure for that. Let us say that x is equal to 0.2353535 and so on, and let us say that this is equation number 1. So let us say that this number is equal to x. Now what we do is we multiply both sides by 1000. So when we multiply both sides of this equation by 1000, now when we multiply both sides by 1000, what we get is 1000x equal to 235.35353535 and so on. And let us say that this is equation number 2. So this is the first equation and this is the second equation. Now in the next step, what we do is we multiply this equation number 1 by 10. So when we multiply this equation by 10, what we get is 10x equal to 2.35353535 and so on. And let us say that this is equation number 3. So we have this second equation as 1000x equal to 235.353535 and so on. And similarly, we get one more equation as 10x equal to 2.353535 and so on. What we do next is we subtract third equation from second. So third minus second, and what we get is 990x equal to 233. So when we subtract the third equation from the second, what we get on the LHS is 990x, and on the right hand side what we get is 233. So x would be equal to 233 by 990, and this is actually in the form of p by q, where p is equal to 233 and q is equal to 990. Also q is not equal to 0. Thus this becomes a rational number, and so x is equal to 233 by 990, which is equal to 0.2353535 and so on. So this is the way we have actually converted a non-terminating and a recurring decimal into a rational number of the form p by q. Let's try to see one more solved example. Find a rational number and also an irrational number between the numbers a and b given below as a equal to 0.10100100001 00001 and so on, and similarly b equal to 0.100100001 00001 and so on. So in this problem what we have to do is we have to find out a rational number between the two numbers a and b, and also an irrational number between these two numbers a and b. How to do that? A is given to be 0.10100100001 and so on, and similarly b is equal to 0.1001 0001 and so on. These are the two numbers that have been given to us in the problem. We have to find a rational number and an irrational number between these two numbers a and b. Now, clearly we see that A is greater than B. Why? Because the third place of A is equal to 1 and the third place of B is equal to 0. Therefore, A is of course greater than B. And at the same time, we can see that it is a non-terminating and a non-recurring decimal. Therefore, A is an irrational number. Also, B follows the same trend and thus B is also an irrational number. So, A and B are two irrational numbers where A is greater than B. Now, we have to find a rational number and an irrational number between these two numbers. Now, let's see the construction of a rational number between A and B. A and B both being irrational numbers and A greater than B. Now, if we consider a number C equal to 0.101, now your C is clearly less than A but greater than B. Why? Because up to the 3 places of decimal it is the same as A, but it terminates. So of course A would be greater than C, and because the third place of C is 1 and the third place of B is 0, so of course C is greater than B. Therefore, we get B is greater than C and which is less than A. Thus, C lies between B and A. Also, this is a terminating decimal and we know that a terminating decimal is a rational number. Thus, C is a rational number which lies between A and B. Just construction of an irrational number. So, we have also to find an irrational number between A and B. Now, if we consider the number D equal to 0.100, 20001, 0001 and so on. If we consider this number, then why? Because the third place is 0 and the third place is 1. So A is of course greater than D. But when we compare B and D, then we see that the fourth place of decimal here is 2 and the fourth place of decimal here is 1. Therefore, D is greater than B but is less than A. Also, we see that this is a non-terminating and a non-recurring decimal, because we do not see a fixed pattern over here and of course this is non-terminating. Thus we can say that D is an irrational number. So D is an irrational number between A and B, and also C is a rational number between A and B. Thus we have successfully solved this problem where we had to find a rational number and an irrational number between two numbers A and B. Now let's see how to represent real numbers on the number line. So we have seen the representation of integers, natural numbers. Of course, their representation is quite easy. But let's try to see the exact representation of real numbers on the number line. To understand this through an example. So represent 4.675 on the number line. So 4.675 is the number we have to represent on the number line. We have taken this as a terminating decimal, but of course we know that representing 4 is quite easy, but representing 4.675 seems to be a bit complicated, and it is in fact a bit complicated, but its procedure is quite simple. So let's try to see how to actually represent a number like 4.675 on the number line. So we have to represent the number 4.675. So in the first step, what we do is we draw the number line. So this is our number line where this is represented by 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5 and this is 6. And similarly on the left hand side we can have infinitely many such integers. Now in the first step, what we do is we have to find 4.675. Of course this number lies between 4 and 5. So of course this number will lie somewhere between 4 and 5. Now what we do next is we divide this entire portion between 4 and 5 into 10 equal parts. So when we do that, so this is represented this way. So what we have done here is we have divided this entire portion between 4 and 5 into 10 equal parts. So this is 4.1, this is 4.2, this is 4.3, this is 4.4, this is 4.5, this is 4.6, this is 4.7, this is 4.8 and this is 4.9, and finally this is 5. So now this number 4.675 would of course lie between 4.6 and 4.7, because this number is greater than 4.6 and this number is less than 4.7. So now we are interested in this space. Now again what we do is we consider this space as 4.6 and 4.7 and divide this entire segment into 10 equal parts. So this would represent 4.61, this would represent 4.62, this would represent 4.63, this would represent 4.64, this would be 4.65, 4.66, 4.67, 4.68, 4.69 and finally 4.7. Now again this is 4.675. Now of course this number is greater than 4.67 but this is less than 4.68. So we are again interested in this portion between 4.67 and 4.68. So again we are going to consider this portion and we are going to divide this entire portion between 4.67 and 4.68 into 10 equal parts. So this would represent 4.671, this would be 4.672, this would be 4.673, this would be 4.674, this would be 4.675, this would be 4.676, this would be 4.677, this would be 4.678, this would be 4.679 and finally this is 4.68. Now we have to represent 4.675 and we get this as the required number, which is 4.675. Thus we have successfully represented the number exactly on the number line. So what we have actually done here is we have located the required number between two natural numbers. Then in the next step we divide that interval between two natural numbers into 10 equal parts and again try to locate in the region in which the required number lies. Then again we consider that section and divide it into 10 equal parts and again try to figure out where the required number lies. Continue this process till we get the required number, and this is actually the way we represent any number on the number line. And for practice you can take different real numbers. This was all about the real numbers, their decimal representation and how to actually represent real numbers on the number line.